Hey, I'm JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe. Please hit like. I normally do watchmaking videos, and today I'm just going to jump inside of the Airbus H-160 helicopter. And there was an update to the Halifax Canada International Airport. I just want to fly around and see what that update is. And you can see on my electronic flight bag right there in the middle, I'm sitting on runway whatever, 23 probably. 230 degrees, runway 23. All systems are go. I don't have my automatic floats on, but I've got everything else on the go. I might as well go over here and turn on my maps because I have an update here that I need to deal with. So I'll just turn it on like this, and I just want to fly around anyway. So I'm using Tobii Eye Tracker 5. What a marvelous device. And as you can see, I can look around with my eyes. The small turn of my head turns this not linearly, but I think exponentially. And I've got passengers in the back, and we're going to have a look at the aircraft from the outside in 1 second here. There we go. It's a little noisier, but there's the aircraft, the H-160 from Airbus. Beautiful, beautiful helicopter. 2-engine aircraft, and it has got a protected tail rotor, which is very nice. This aircraft is fully dynamic, fully designed. The rotor systems, everything is very dynamic. You can see everything move in this aircraft. You just swirl around here, and you can see it from the front. And there we go. We get the wire cutter right above the pilot's head there, just in case the cable cutter, just in case I decide to fly into the local Halifax power systems. Windshield wipers, pitot tubes, it's all there. Very beautiful aircraft. High Performance Group makes this aircraft. You have to pay a few bucks to get it, but it's worth every cent. So I'm flying with the Thrustmaster joystick and throttle, and the joystick is in the new AVA base, and oh my god, this is quite a nice base. It's worth the money. I'm just moving it around here, do a little bit of test. And there are my Turtle Beach pedals, very nice and all metal. And let's just get this thing in the air. So I can auto hover as well. If I look at my electronic flight bag, you really have to stare at what you're looking at when you're using the Tobii Eye Tracker. You get used to it after a while, but it's sometimes pretty tough. There we go. So I could go, once this aircraft is off the ground, I can go into hover mode, and let's just fly for a few seconds towards the airport and see what's new. Now I'll give it a little bit of pedal here as I take off. There we go. I'm above the ground now, so the aircraft will want me to raise my landing gear. I've got that mapped to a button on my throttle. And so you can see the landing gear folding up here. And I'll just make sure. Now when I also have hover mapped, and there we go. I've got that mapped to the big red button on my joystick. And so I'm in hover mode right now, and I'm doing a height hover. It switched on its own. It was an altitude. The altitude hover is for barometric altitude, and the height is a radio altitude height. So there's the airport. Just looking out the window here, and what we're going to do is just get our way over to the airport and have a look. And it says there's an update. I'm not sure what this update is, but let's just fly over here. It'll go into hands-on mode from the auto hover if you apply. I think it's 5 degrees of control with your stick. So there we go. So there's the Ottawa International Airport. I'm going to just turn off the hover here, so I have a little more control. And nose up, and I'm going to get rid of the tablet here, or what they call the electronic flight bag. Back in the day, pilots would bring all their maps with them on flights, so this is kind of the alternative to that, I guess. So I got to check my power here, make sure I don't cause any issues. There's the airport. now as it stands. I don't see too much that's new. Halifax Stanfield International Airport. It's actually quite a nice airport. It was refreshed around 20 years ago. That hotel you see on the right-hand side was built once, and it was actually by my neighbor that lived down the street, his company. And then they decided, for some reason, financing fell through or something. It's the Alt Hotel now. And they got the contract to tear it down as well, which is pretty amazing. And then they rebuilt an airport. So the most important part of this whole trip or modeling of this is my old company, IMP Aerospace. And there it is there. There's one of the hangars. That's hangar 1, I believe, right below. And we have down here the old CP Air hangar where I worked for quite a few years, and that was hangar 6, I believe, if I can recall. And it was right next to the hangar was used for CanJet. Let me just go down a little bit here. And yeah, there it still says CanJet on it. And I'm going to get my altitude down here a bit so we can have a look at that. And I'm going to watch my... I do have a reset here. Don't be vortexing me, guys. Don't be vortexing me. There's the hangar on the end. It says IMP, that brown roofed hangar. That's the one I worked on. I worked on the Cormorant helicopter program for many years. Very beautiful search and rescue EH-101 helicopter. And then we have the CanJet hangar, which is right here. That's the CanJet hangar right there. And then the most important feature of this airport was Tim Hortons. so if I just go right a bit, I think I can find the Tim Hortons facility. It's just off of the main roads. So you got to be able to find Timmy's if you're going to live in the Maritimes. This is for all my friends who are from the Maritimes. Marcel, who's a friend of mine, I'll send this video to Marcel. He can have a look at it. But what we have here is Timmy's. Right down below there, that brown building, it's pretty well known. This is a Canadian version of Dunkin' Donuts. Except a lot of people like it better. So we're just going to do a flyby here. That's Tim Hortons. I'm having vortex issues here. I may lose my aircraft. No, I was close. There's a Tim Hortons sign. Keep an eye on my my rate of descent here. As you saw, you don't want your aircraft going backwards into the wind and me losing power all at the same time. Not a good thing. So let's get some forward velocity here and just do a flyby the airport. And here we go, and this is pretty accurate. And there's the underground parking on the right hand side, and the hotel we just passed by, and there's the underground parking. And there's another hangar over here. This might be Canadair. I can't remember. No, it's Jazz. Air Canada Jazz. So there we go. And there are the various liveries of Air Canada aircraft. They may have some CanJet aircraft in here too. Let me see. And that is kind of what it looks like. It's a very modern aircraft. I'm sure this will be better modeled in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, which is coming out in 1 month, 4 weeks. I've already pre-purchased it. We'll just do a fly by the hangars here. That's an IMP hangar as well. And that was for supporting the offshore oil rig folks. Another IMP hangar 1. And then we have a non-IMP hangar, and then we've got a bunch more IMP hangars. And we had the and there's my hangar, the brown one right there. I spent quite a few years working in that hangar on the Cormorant program. So there we go. And if I just down this way, there's where they do the engine run-ups down here. And they're doing, I believe down here there's an IMP hangar as well. That was the hangar that was built for the re-winging of the CP-140, which is equivalent to the American P-3 Orion aircraft. And then we've got a hotel here, and we've got the road to Halifax. I'll just go down the highway for a second here. Get a little carried away. Sorry about that. Hope you find this is interesting. But this is the main highway, and little note here as you go towards Halifax, when you get a little closer, you could go off this main highway and we'll run into the woods, and you could find my house. There we go. So I'll just call this an airport tour with a little bit of extra. And now I'm heading towards the city of Halifax. I'm flying at 140, 150, 140 knots here, so I should get there in a few minutes. It's not a very long drive to Halifax. Nicely wooded areas here. Halifax has got the same kind of weather as Boston does, Boston, Mass. And actually they're sister cities, so... Oh, I've got to do a frequency change.
Halifax Tower H160 Foxtrot, Hotel Yankee Papa.
There we go.
Frequency change.
Now, yeah, the Boston and Halifax are sister cities. They had the Halifax explosion during World War I that destroyed a majority of the city, and folks from Boston came to Halifax to help every year, to help that after that explosion to rebuild the city. And in appreciation for that, every year, and I believe it's still happening, Halifax sends a Christmas tree to Boston. So the tree that's in the main square in the middle of Boston is from Halifax, Nova Scotia. So the split in the roads to go home, I would go left. Go down this way here. Of course, always obeying the speed limit. In Canada, the speed limit's in kilometers an hour, so you're looking at around 65 miles an hour, I believe, because they've gone to 110 kilometers an hour. And you're getting close to the Waverley area where I used to live. And there's a bunch of lakes down below. And if I jump up here, I can follow the lakes, but I'm just going to fly down here for a second, and we'll check out the Waverley Road. Now, what else do I know about Halifax? It's got the Citadel, which is a fort in the middle of the city, and I believe there's 5 sides to the fort. And Marcel, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but 5 sides to the fort. There are the lakes. I'm going to just jump over this and jump towards these series of lakes that are down here. There's some wires I don't want to have to cut. And I lived off of Lake Williams. This is in fact Lake Williams right here, because I recognize the islands. I used to kayak down here. And if I keep going down these lakes, I'll end up hitting one of the lakes is well known for producing Olympic level boat racing people. I sound like Donald Trump there. If you don't know the word, you just use a bunch of words to describe the word. The boat racing people. It's like in Ottawa, the Dow's Lake Pavilion. So here we go. And you do have to portage from lake to lake if you really want to get through here. And there's the road that you cross there, and the highway that goes across there. So I'm just going to keep following the lakes for a second. Yeah, it's a very beautiful area. And I can see some buildings out there that are likely the city of Halifax. So let me just, up here, I believe up here is an industrial park. Yeah, that's an industrial park I used to hang out at occasionally. Did not have a theater, which is bad. But this is the highway around that, and let me see if I can, we're getting close to the city of Halifax. I'll just go into Halifax. I'll fly over Citadel Hill, and we'll count the number of points on the fort. Probably more than 5, actually. It's star-shaped in order to have rifle coverage for when the enemy would be running up and attacking the city. So it was rebuilt 5 times over the same fort. So they had to rebuild it based on the tactics and the enemy. And there's the industrial park. Let me reset my focus here. There we go. How brave do I want to be? Let's not fly between buildings today. So I do want to finish this and stay high. And there's the Where's Waldo 3 towers, which are kind of cool. It's kind of a landmark in the area, but these steam towers are here. And there's the Bedford Basin on the right hand side, and then the Bedford Basin, and the new bridge is straight ahead. And the old bridge was supposedly cursed, was supposed to come down in 1988, I believe, and it never came down, so the curse never came true. There's the new bridge here. And let me just come around here and follow the water for a second. And the Irving shipbuilding is right over here. You can see some of the big buildings there. You can see that they're working on the new Canadian frigates in that shipbuilding complex and building them piece by piece, part by part. There's the old bridge. I don't dare fly under it. Should I fly under it? I'm going to fly under the old bridge and crash. But this is an H-160, so I should be able to just tuck myself underneath this bridge nicely. It's a pretty high bridge. There we go. It didn't like what I did, by the way. So, and Snake Island is straight ahead, and there's the city of Halifax, a very beautiful port town. And on the top, right there, we have Citadel Hill. Do I get to count the stars? I'm just going to see if I can slow down here a bit and pull up my nose to bleed off some speed. And there we go. And let's count those stars. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I was wrong. Maybe more than 6, actually. So let's forget my star counting. But that is Citadel Hill. I've done tours of Citadel Hill. Some of my friends have worked there as guards. But it's kind of a neat Halifax icon. It is in fact a hill, and right at the base is the clock tower. I keep vortexing myself here, so there we go. And if I get myself in hover mode here, altitude hover, and there we go. And if I look out the window, I'm in hover mode right now, so I should be safe. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stars, so I was way off. But there's the city of Halifax right there. I'm hovering above Halifax. I went into hover mode. Some scratches on my windows. I'll have to get the maintenance guys to fix that. Beautiful city, and it's very well modeled. And right down there in the kind of on the right hand side at Citadel Hill, you see the clock tower. So it's a monument that's been around for probably 150 years. So beautiful, beautiful city. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching my channel. I'd like to just get myself recentered here, and let's get off of hover mode and just fly around for 1 second here, in case you recognize any buildings here. Down by the harbor, go to the casino, just hang out down here. So there you go. This is Halifax, beautiful city. I don't believe there's any helipads here. There's always a cruise ship in the harbor, by the way. Cruise ships love to stop here, and there's one here. They probably have a helipad. I don't dare try to land on it. It looks like it could be a helipad there. It looks like they have tennis courts, which is a really stupid thing to have on a cruise ship. You'll lose your tennis balls. And this park, speaking of hurricanes, the park straight ahead lost, I think, 80 or 90% of its trees during Hurricane Juan, which was a Category 3 hurricane that hit Halifax in the 90s. So I try to get my dates right here, but this park right ahead, straight ahead, it lost a huge percentage of trees. Anyway, I'm up for criticism and corrections for my history here. My Halifax history lesson may be way off. But there we go. I'm banking in the 160 aircraft. Let's have another look at this helicopter from the outside. What a beautiful chopper this is. That's it. Thanks a lot for watching my channel. Thanks for subscribing. This is JD with a little bit of an airport flyby and a little flyby of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Thank you very much. If you want to learn more about history, look at the comments and they'll be correcting everything I've said. I lived here for over 10 years. I really love the city and enjoy it. And a big shout out to Marcel. Hopefully he's watching this. And Rita. I'm going to send this to Rita as well, who's lived in Halifax, and she lived down in the Bedford Basin in the Bedford area. And we're not going to go to the Chicken Burger today, Rita. So there you go. Thanks a lot, and we'll catch you later.